one more question for you today. The thing that is near and dear to our heart is really trying to leverage technology to improve public safety and really empower our first responders with the kind of tools that might make their job more effective, more efficient. If you could have any kind of technology, or if you've seen any technology that you think has been game-changing, or if you haven't seen it but wish you could, what would that technology be for the fire service? What do you think we need, or what kinds of things have you seen that are quite unique and should be more widespread?
So are we talking for telemedicine? Are we talking about in general, or how would you?
Yeah, it can go either way. It can be for telemedicine, and it could be on the EMS side. It could be on the fire side. I mean, I'll give you an example. I saw last year at FRI, your conference, we saw a tethered drone that was built into a fire apparatus that allowed, for instance, situational awareness. And it allowed it to be done without an FAA pilot for that drone because it was tethered. It had high-speed capabilities because it was attached to public safety broadband networks, you know, those kinds of things. And to me, it's a fairly game-changing event because some technology was bringing a different view that maybe you wouldn't have. And so there's just all sorts of different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be EMS or fire.
So I'm glad you let me, you really opened the door for me. So, because at TJ, I got so many, I like to look and think what the future is going to look like. And so I predict, I'll just share with you, I predict that the firefighters and the paramedics that are born today is May the 6th, 2020. So, you know, in 21 years, it'll be 2041. You know, they'll be 21 years old. They might be entering the profession. Some might be entering later, as some do, 25, 26 years old. So we're talking we're almost talking maybe year 2045, 2050. I predict they will never drive a fire engine or an ambulance. That we will have autonomous driving fire trucks and autonomous driving ambulances. That while you're driving to the scene, I'm sorry about the sun coming in on me here, so I'm trying to, I see that I got a terrible shade here. So, but I predict they will never drive it. That we will be dispatched, the fire truck or the ambulance will drive itself to the scene, and while they're en route, they will have the opportunity to go through pre-plans. That drone might self-deploy ahead of time, so that they're getting situational awareness, is flying to the scene directly, and it's sending video back to the fire truck that's en route, so they can do a 360 with it prior to them even getting there. You know, just all the cool things that we can do. So that's one thing I predict is going to happen. Is that the kids that are born today that are coming up behind us in our profession will never drive a vehicle. So that's one thing that I predict.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say, you know, and what's kind of key to that, right? And all of this technology is, you know, it's ensuring that our firefighters and EMTs of today, not only the ones in the future, but have access to the kinds of broadband connectivity and technology that is going to enable that functionality, right? And so when we think about legacy networks and we think about radio networks, which have been critical, you know, to all of public safety, not just the fire service, and continue to be. At the same token, here in 2020, as you said, and then eventually in 2041, right, it's going to be critical that we've got widespread adoption of technologies and have the communications capabilities in order to send the kind of data we need in order to get the results that you're describing.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta be able to push the data. And I think that's where FirstNet will come in. I know it's mostly voice right now, but in the future, I predict that the firefighter that enters a building, that the incident commander, they'll be hooked up to the FirstNet system, and the firefighter that enters the building, all his information is being transmitted, all his physiological information is being transmitted back to the incident commander. He knows, you know, his pulse, his respirations, you know, his body temperature. He will know how much air he has left in his SCBA, and then he'll get an alarm that they're, say, below 1,500 PSI, all those sort of things. And then the other thing I predict is, just like we read the children's books, Hansel and Gretel, in the past, where they drop the breadcrumbs, that when you enter a near zero visibility environment, a very smoky conditions, and you're obviously walking to a residence or a structure you've never been in before, that we've all been there trying to find your way back out. You want to listen for the sounds and listen for the noise outside, and maybe, you know, you might get a glimpse of some light a little bit. But I predict in the future that the mask that we wear will drop breadcrumbs behind us. And so when we turn around to go back out, you just follow your breadcrumbs back out. There will be a trail there that will show the path that you came in and be able to lead you back out to your exit point that you came in through. So, you know, that'll help our firefighters to get disoriented and get lost in buildings, and then obviously lose their air supply because they're trying to find their way out. That especially happens in my career. I've seen it happen in large it's not so much residences, mostly in large commercialized, compartmentalized buildings is where it happens at. So that'll save firefighters' lives. We'll probably have the TICs, the thermal imaging cameras built right into our mask where we'll be able to see without having to hold up a camera. I think some of the things that we're going to see in the future are just going to be outstanding. We'll also probably have in three-dimensional space, we'll be able to look and see where a firefighter is at in the building, whether he's on the second, third, or fourth floor, whether they're in whatever part of the building they're in. I think there's so many technologies that we're going to see, and all that's going to be, as you just described, the architecture for that will be the backbone, it will be the data systems that we're able to transmit that information back and forth.
Yeah, once you connect the firefighter to the cloud and you have the ability to leverage that real-time data, whether it's for a heads-up display, it's the actual building layouts, it's the ability to have your vital sign data, all those things that are critical to firefighter safety. I mean, you think of our pass alarms, it'd be a lot more important to know when somebody fell down and where are they and how do we find them, and not just have that beeping sound to figure out where that down firefighter is. And it's stuff that more or less is available now or will be in the very near future. It won't necessarily be the next generation for those kinds of technologies. But I do agree. I think it's going to be game changing when we get to autonomous fire engines, and the focus can be on situational awareness and putting on PPE and being prepared to have an attack plan when people arrive. I think that is game changing. And I also think, I'll throw one back at you, I think we're also going to have some drone only fire stations. We could have the edge of a fire district in a rural part of America where there's a drone only fire station that responds and gives that early heads up situational awareness on a fire or a traffic accident. And I have to give good due, Chief Mike Dyke up in Tualatin Valley came up with that one a few years back. And I think he's right. I mean, I think that's coming in the not too distant future, and these kinds of things are going to change what we're doing.
And I'll give you one more. We've all watched the Back to the Future movies, right? So they had the hoverboards, you know, where you scooting around a hoverboard. I predict our backboards of the future will be a hoverboard. So you will no longer have to lift patients up on a backboard and put them on a stretcher. There'll be a hoverboard. They hover up and go right on the stretcher. I'm predicting that one. So
love it.
I like that one. A lot of back injuries will be prevented by that. That'll be good.
I just say, because where most of our injuries happen in the EMS, it's those back injuries. So put them on a hoverboard, and we eliminate a lot of the back injuries. So
I love it.
Fantastic.
Well, we really appreciate the conversation today. I think that all the firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, and others out there across the public safety community who hopefully are tuning in will learn a lot and come back with their recommendations for what they think is going to happen for the next generation of firefighters as well. And the good news is, I think that firefighters of the future will be able to help create reality with the technology that we have coming aboard now.
Yep, I agree. The future looks bright, and I'm going to tell you, the kids I see coming up in our profession today, I know the future looks bright. They're outstanding, they're smart, they're intelligent, they're problem solvers, and the future is in very good hands as we depart and retire.
That's terrific. I really appreciate that. Chief Ludwig, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate all the good discussions about taking care of our firefighters during these unprecedented times, as well as looking to the future of technology.
Roger, it's been a pleasure to be with you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You take care.